Okay, welcome to the Simplex webinar number 13. This is the last one for 2014. My name is Michelle Babola. Welcome. I hope you've appreciated these webinars throughout the year, and there will be more to come next year. Today's session is PowerPoint 2013 Basic and More. It's really a combination of intro and intermediate. We have done a PowerPoint tips and tricks and a PowerPoint enhancing presentations that was more advanced. This one will be a combination of both. Again, this session moves quickly. Any questions you have, you can ask them at the end of the session. And also remember, this session will be posted on YouTube, so you can watch it at your own pace and take notes. All right, if the audio is on your computer only, the web client won't do sound if you're running Windows XP. You can use the text window to ask questions. If you have problems connecting or hearing, email support@simplex-it.com, or you can call 234-380-1277. Again, we will be putting this on the YouTube soon after. 2-hour special training offer next year, starting in January, 2-hour web sessions with me. You pick the topic. If you have a topic that you want to cover in more detail, like Excel Pivot or anything else, you can let us know, and I can spend 2 hours as a help provider to support any problems you might be having, or we can go over, how to do something in more detail. Whatever you want, just let us know. Contact Bob at simplex-it.com. The webinar topics coming up, these are going to be for 2015. That's a little bit mistake up there. You can see the listing of topics we have coming up on December 19th. There's going to be a ABCs of project management. January 8th, we're going to do a data Excel and so forth, so you can see some of the things coming up. And there'll be a flyer going out on more of this. The lunch and our topics, we're going to be December 17th, the annual Geek Raffle, January 21st, IT Trends for 15. It's kind of hard to keep saying 14, 15. February 18th, Security Strategies for the SMB. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started on the, let me run through that again then. All right, so again, real quick, here's the topics coming up for 2015 that you may be interested in, and you may also see the lunch and hour topics that are coming up. Now, remember, this may go over a little bit for the, past 12, so if you want to hang on, go ahead. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, PowerPoint. I'm going to open PowerPoint, and PowerPoint takes me to the template window. And as you can see, there are some templates in here that you can choose from as far as design goes. Up here at the top, you have different templates that you can choose from different categories. Some of these will have multiple slides in them to help you along, like the business ones. If you're doing a marketing presentation or any type of presentation like that, you can see the different layouts that you can choose from. And then so forth. Sometimes you might have more categories here, sometimes you don't. Usually I noticed mine had a little bit more category choices here. So I'm going to basically pick one of these templates that's right here in the front. And when you do that, you can see that you have the different color choices that you can choose from. And then you just hit create. So when you create, you just automatically get a title slide. And on the title slide, we're going to go ahead and create our title. So it says click to add title. You really don't have to click. You can just start typing. So the topic is going to be webinar sessions that we did for 2014. Then it says click to add subtitle. A little trick that you can do to get to the subtitle without using your mouse is to hold the control key down and hit the enter key. And it'll take you to the next text box, or as what they call it in PowerPoint, they call it a placeholder. So I'm going to type sessions and topics that we did. Now I want to do a new slide. So on the home ribbon, there is a new slide button, and if I click on the drop down arrow, I can pick from the different layouts that you see. So for instance, you can do a title and content, which is usually bullets. You could do a title only, you could do a blank, you could do a 2-column one if you want. The other thing you could do too is you could either hit Control Enter to get another slide, or you can do Control and the letter M. So if I do Control M, the next slide that I get is going to be a bulleted list slide. So the layout of this slide has a title, and then it has bullets. The colors, the fonts, the bullets, that's all picked by the design that you choose. So if I go to the Design tab right here, you can see the different styles that are here for me to choose from. And then I could choose to change it at any time, even though I picked a different template earlier. So I can kind of go with this template design. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to type my title. And these are some of the topics that we did. Now, again, I'm at the title placeholder. So to get to the bullets down below, I'm going to do Control and Enter. And then I'm going to get a bullet. So then I'm going to type, I'm going to hit Enter. Then I'm going to hit my Tab key. When I hit my Tab key, it indents and gives me a secondary bullet. So now I can type and say, okay, table styles or table window, ways to create a table. When I hit Enter again, the secondary bullet is going to come up. Now again, the design of the bullet is different based off the template, and we can change that later, which we are going to do. I want to go back to the main bullet, so I'm going to do Shift Tab. When I do Shift Tab, it's going to take me back and give me a larger ribbon. So I use Tab to indent to get a smaller bullet, and I'm typing. Notice too, as I'm typing, it capitalizes the first letter of the word to the right of the bullet. So it does that automatically. That's part of your autocorrect feature. I'm going to hit Enter again. Now, also on the home ribbon, you do have your indent buttons here. So you have your indent decrease button to send you back to the left, and you have this button to actually indent you all the way over too. So this would just be like hitting Tab and then Shift Tab. So you have all these different levels of bullets. They're just smaller arrows or diamonds that you want to call them, or triangles. And so just go back and start typing again. Now, as I'm typing, something's going to happen. So I'm going to say connect to data. Then I'm going to do another bullet. So Word, tables, Excel, spreadsheet. Now I'm getting very close to the bottom of this database, and you're going to see what happens. So as I go back, and then I'm going to type Mail Merge Wizard. As I'm typing, you're going to notice that it's automatically adjusting the size of the text to fit the placeholder, and that is called the auto fit option. You'll notice a little button has appeared at the bottom of the placeholder. If I click on it, it's because the auto fit text to placeholder command is on, and I want that on. So as I'm typing, if I have a lot of text, it keeps it in the placeholder. Though sometimes you have too much text. So what it does is it gives you the option to split it between two slides. And if I do that, it's going to take this part and move it to one slide and keep this part on another, which actually you don't want to use too much information when you're working with a slide. If I hit my undo button and click back in here and go there, you could also continue to a new slide, or you could have moved it to 2 columns and then just moved this over to the other column and made it a 2-column slide. But I like the splitting between two slides feature. And if I go here to control autocorrect options, it says auto fit title text to placeholder, means that if my title gets too big, too many lines, it'll adjust it. Auto fit body text to placeholder, so that's why you automatically get the adjustment with that when you're working with it. So I'm going to split it between two slides, and now I have my two slides here. So now I'm going to do Control M again. I'm going to type Excel pivot. Control Enter to get to the next placeholder. Now, I have not used my mouse at all to do any of this. So while I'm typing, I'm using my tabs to indent out. Now, another thing too, if you want to skip a space, you can easily do that just by hitting Enter again. And that way you will, create space between your, so I just hit Enter twice. So I don't want everything to look crammed on my slide. And I'm just creating a couple slides. Now I'm at the end. I'm going to do Control M, or I can do Control Enter too. Both of them are going to go ahead and give you a new slide, and you can just keep typing. And I'm not even using the mouse at all. So I'm going to do one more thing here. Create chart using F11. Apply different chart types. And finally, create a chart template. Okay, so now I have my slides, and I'm going to go back to, so over here I have my little film strip over here on the left that lets me go from slide to slide. I have my, I'm going to go to the title slide, and I'm going to click here in the placeholder here, and I want to format this one. So to format it, I could either do, instead of clicking and dragging over the text, which you can do, I can either click 3 times on the text to highlight it, and then I would get the little mini toolbar so that I can format it to make the text bigger or smaller, to center the text if I want. But when I center it, it disappears. So I can either right click to bring it back, or I could go up here on the home ribbon and also format my text. So I can change the font. It does have that live preview feature so that as you're dragging over it, you can see the different font styles quickly to see what you like and what you don't like, which is nice. You can increase your size or decrease it. You can make it bold. You can make it italics. You can add a shadow effect. You can go here to your font. Now, you'll notice for font colors, my choices are more blues and greens. Basically, that's because of the template that I picked. I could go to more colors and go to the standard tab and also pick colors from there, even though they're not listed in the drop-down choice. I can also increase the spacing between the letters if I want. And I can also change the case. If I want to make it all uppercase, I can do that. The other thing is, if you right click on the placeholder and you go to size and position or format shape, I'm going to go to format shape, you get this formatting pane on the right. Basically, there's a section for the shape itself, and that's the actual placeholder. There's also one, so if I want to change the fill color inside of the placeholder or make it gradient fill, and then this is something you really kind of have to dig into because there's just so many choices for you to pick from when you're working with your placeholder. You could even do a picture inside of the placeholder. You could do textures if you want. You can do a picture that you have maybe on your computer. You can do one that you have online. You could go online. So let's say I type a winter scene, and I want to put that in the background. I select this one and hit Insert. Now I'm doing this in the background of the placeholder, and then I can make it transparent. Then over here, you have the options of doing glows around it, changing the border. You just kind of have to go through this and click on the different ones. Then I have a text options one where I can go and put different formats to the text. I can change it to word art if I want. I can click here. One of the things doing here, it says text box vertical alignment bottom. When I did the center, it centered it in the center of the box, but it didn't center it in the middle. So if I do that and choose middle, I can move the text up there, and then I can also format it that way too. So this is something you kind of have to dig into and kind of play around with when you're working with objects in PowerPoint. Then I could take this placeholder. If you want to move or size it, you use the circles here. You can use it to size it. You can make it bigger. You can center it, format it however way you want, change the colors, and then maybe you want to put it somewhere else. You just put your mouse on the line and then you just size it that way. All right, now I want to make a duplicate of this slide because I want to put this at the end. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to the new slide button and I'm going to say duplicate selected slide. So now I have another slide for the end of my presentation. So I'm going to type thank you, and then I'm going to put sessions on YouTube. And now I'm going to take this slide and just drag it to the bottom of my list here. So I can either move my slides around this way, or I can actually move them around in the slide sorter view, which we're going to look at in a little bit. So now that I have my slides created here, I'm going to go to slide number, let's say 3. And then at the bottom here of the slide, you have, this is called the normal view. And you'll notice you have a notes button here that you can click on. And then you can size the note pane, and you can click here and type notes. Now this would be for the speaker. So you can discuss different ways of connecting to data, have Excel spreadsheet, and access database for samples. Now you'll notice that it does spell check. When you run spell check, it'll check your notes and it'll also check your slides. You do get the red here, so you can right click on it and fix the spelling, but you can run your spell check and it does spell check your notes along with the text that's on the slide. Though when you run your presentation, your audience doesn't see the notes, but it's just something to help you. Then if you want to hide your notes, you just click on notes and then it just hides it and you click on it when you need it again. The nice thing about this is before, when you had the notes pane open, you had to keep it open and then you had to keep sizing it every time you wanted to type, and that kind of was a pain. This way you can make it the size you want. You can type in it and then you can just hide it when you're actually working on the slide. So speaking of views, if I go to the view ribbon, we are in the normal view, but there is a notes page view. This would be for the speaker. You can type in here too. You can click in here and you can actually type in this view also. There's also a notes master that you can do where you can, make the slide smaller. You can format this. We'll look at that later. So over here, I'll go back to normal view. You have the outline view, which actually shows you the outline of the text. This would not show you any graphics. This would just kind of show you an outline. You can actually click over here and actually type if you want. Most people like typing on the slide, but there are some people that like looking at the outline just to read the text to get the information about what's in the presentation as opposed to all the graphics. You have your slide sorter view, which allows you to rearrange your slides by dragging them if you want. You can hold your control key down and you can zoom in and out to make it bigger or smaller. And you can also double click on a slide to get to the slide. So if you have 100 slides in your presentation, this is a great way to find the slide that you're looking for and to get to it fast. And then one of the other views that's kind of new is the reading view. The reading view is almost like the full screen view, except you still see your task pane down below, and you have a little arrow key that allows you to move from slide to slide. It's just not the full screen view. It gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. And so basically, when you want to run this slideshow, you can either hit your F5 key, which will start it from the beginning, and that will put it full screen so you can see the full screen of the slide itself. Now there's a zoom button down here at the bottom to make the slide bigger or smaller, or whatever view you're on. The button I like the most is this one here. It's Fit Slide to Current Window. So if your slide is too big or too small, it adjusts the slide to fit to the current window that you have. This also will take you to normal view, which you're in. This will take you to slide sorter view. This will put you in reading view. And this one will run the presentation from the current slide. So if I click on it, it runs the presentation from the current slide so you can see what it looks like full screen. Escape turns it off. So I'll get to those shortcuts later. Another neat feature that's in PowerPoint is the ability to create what are called sections. And again, if you're using 2010, even though this is 2013, they're very similar. So also you can do sections in 2010 too. So on the home ribbon where it says section, I'm going to click on the top slide, and I'm going to click on the drop down, and I'm going to hit add section. And then you can right click on the section title and rename it. And I'll just call it beginning, and then I'll hit rename. Now, everything under this is part of the beginning section. So now, let's say I'm going to do number 3. I'm going to add another section, and I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to call it lunch. And then I'm going to hit rename. And then I'll do one more here, and I'll hit another section, and I'll call this the end. So let's say you're giving a presentation, and as you're going through your presentation, you want to know which is, whatever sections you're working with so that you can get to those sections quicker. So like when I'm doing something online and I have my beginning intro slides to introduce the presentation, and then I might have something for lunch for before they go to lunch and when they come back, and then my ending presentation like I'm doing today. So you can actually collapse all those sections and then just expand the sections that you want when you want to get to them. Another nice thing about the sections is when you are in slide sorter view, it actually separates those slides in those sections. So if I have a whole section here for lunch and I go to the slideshow ribbon and I hit hide, I've just hidden all of those sections there so that when I run my show, it's actually going to skip that section because I hid it from the presentation. And then if I go back, and you can tell because there's a little line through the slide number, I'm going to unhide the slides from that section. Another thing that is nice when you're working with your presentation sections is that you can actually go to File, go to Print, and right here where it says Print All Slides, you can print just the sections. So you can print the beginning section, the lunch section, and the end section. There's also something called custom shows, which I'll show you at the end of the presentation today, which is a nice feature too. So now to get rid of the sections, if you want to get rid of them, you right click on it and you can just remove the section. You don't usually probably want to remove the section in slides unless you don't want those slides, or you can just choose to remove all the sections at one time, which I'm going to do, to bring them back to the way they are. So the sections is a really nice feature that you can use when working with your presentations. Now I'm going to talk about the slide master. So the slide master, if I want to change the text and change the color and the font, If I want to change the bullets on all the slides because I don't like the bullets that they're using, or I want to change the font colors, and I want to put a logo in the bottom and I want it to appear on all the slides, then I need to go to the slide master. So I've already manually formatted the title slide. So I'm going to go to the bulleted list slide. I'm going to go to the view ribbon. And then there is a slide master. Now it's a little tricky. So when you click on it, it takes you to the slide master view. But what you have to be very careful of is every layout that is in a slide, like a slide layout, like you have your title and content, you have your 2-column, you have a title only slide. They all have their own master. If I want everything to be applied to all the slides, I have to scroll up and click on the very top one, because what will happen is if you're on a title and content slide layout, it will only take you to the title and content master. So if you format that, it will only format anything that is that layout. Any other layout will not be formatted. So I'm going to click on the very top one. I'm going to select my title here. I'm just going to make some changes. I'm just going to change the font, make it a little bigger, center it, and then I'm going to change the color. So I'll pick a color here, maybe something a little darker. All right, so I've done that change. Now, the only thing it won't affect is the title, and that's because I've manually changed it. So I'm going to hit Close Master View so you can actually see that it's changed it on all of my slides. And if I insert a new slide, let's say I do a title only, then it's still going to have that format. So basically, and then I can right click over here and hit delete to delete that slide. So again, I'm on here, I go to view, I go to slide master. Again, make sure you click on the top one when you're changing it. I'm going to select the first level. I'm not going to select everything because I want these to be different. So for this one, I'm going to just kind of make this a little bit different as far as fonts go. Maybe I'll pick that, make it bold. Oh, of course, it's Arial. I don't want to be boring here. Do something like that. Change the color. Maybe make it a little bigger. Now that'll just be for the first level. Now I want to change the bullet. So I'm going to go to the home ribbon. And right here in the paragraph section is for the bullets. So I'm going to click on the drop down arrow. I'm going to go to bullets and numbering. I am going to do a picture bullet. So I'm going to do a picture bullet first. I'm going to hit picture, and then you can get it from, if you have a picture in your computer that you want to use, you can do that. You can use a picture from clip art if you want, or you can go online and, I don't know, since it's the holidays, I'm going to look for a wreath. So, you know what? I'm going to go back to my picture here. I'm going to go from file. I'm going to do the smiley face. Keep it simple. Now, the smiley face might be a little bit too small. So if I go back to my bullets and numbering, I can increase the size of it. The one thing I can't do is change the color of a picture bullet because that's already determined. So I do that. I hit OK. My bullet is larger. If the text is too close to the bullet, sometimes the text is too close, you want to go to view, bring up your ruler, and then what you can do is point to your little indent button, and you can either tighten it up or you can separate it to make it more separate from the bullet. Then I'm going to go to the second level. I'm going to go to bullets and numbering, and I'm going to go to customize. And customize, you're going to use the symbols for bullets. And the web dings, the wing dings, 1, 2, and 3 are usually the best ones for symbols because they have a lot of graphics. So as I scroll up here, I'll click on the heart. Now this one, not only can I change the size of it, I can change the color of it. So if I hit OK, And then this text I might make bold, change the color a little bit to make it different, change the font. Make it a little bigger. All right, so now that I've made all these changes, I'm going to go back to my Slide Master tab, which is actually to the left of the home ribbon. It's the only one that always appears. It actually appears to the left instead of to the right. And then I'm going to hit close. Now if you look at my slides, you can see that all of my bullets, all of my text, and everything is automatically formatted. So when I add a new slide, it'll automatically be formatted for me. What I would recommend you do is I would recommend when you create your slides, do your title, then do your bulleted slide, and then go right to the Slide Master and do that. And then that way when you add your slides, it's already set for you. The other reason I say that is because if you've gone in and manually changed a text on a slide, the Slide Master will have no effect on that. It will actually skip it because it will not override anything that you've done manually on a slide. So sometimes people get in, they actually go to the slide itself and change the bullets on that slide, and then they have to do it on every slide. The other thing about the Slide Master, what you have to be careful of is once you've created this, now I'm going to hit save because I want to save this on, I don't want to lose this. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit save. But basically, if you go to design and you pick another template, it will wipe out all of the stuff that you did in the Slide Master. So it'll wipe out the formatting, the bullets, everything. Now, fortunately, I have an undo button so I can undo to bring it all back. Even sometimes the color choices here, the variants. If you pick a different variant, it'll wipe out the bullets and formatting that you did. So again, if you go here to the More button next to Variants, you go to Colors and you pick different colors schemes this way, this will not have an effect on it. So if like I go here and I pick this color scheme, you can see it's brighter, but yet it didn't change the text or the bullets. And then the other thing you might want to put on your Slide Master is you might want to put a logo. So if I go back to the Slide Master, I click on the top one, I'm going to insert a picture that actually what I have is I have something here. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it. And then I'm going to size it and move it to the bottom of the slide. And then when I close out of the Slide Master, you will see it, except for the title, you'll see it on the bottom. Now there is a title master, so if I wanted to put that on the title too, I would go to Slide Master, and then here I would click on the title, and then I could also paste it there and size it and move it down there and then close. So now I have it on my titles and on my other slides. So just to show you the different masters when you're working with them. Then on the View ribbon, you do have a Notes Master, so you could say change the size of the note slide. You could format the text here if you want to make it bold or to make it bigger so you can actually read it. This would be for the person giving the presentation. And there's also a Handout Master when you could do the different handouts. So you can do like 2 slides per page, 3 slides per page, etc. So that is a Slide Master. And that's a key when you're working with your presentations. So now I'm going to talk about the file. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to New. I want to look at some of these other templates that are here. So you have these templates that you can choose from. So you can kind of look through them and see what's available to you. So you can kind of look through and just kind of see what they give you. Like I said, they give you business ones. You can go online too and find some different templates that you can choose from if you want. You've got these these styles here. Like I said, when I was at home, I had a couple more, I had more choices. I had calendars, I had all kinds of different templates to choose from. So I am going to, I'm looking for one. I saw it earlier and now I can't find it, but I'll go with something. So let's say, here, I'll pick this one. So I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to hit create. You can see when I hit create, it's going to download this template. This template's going to have some examples of charts and things like that that we're going to do. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to call it, you know, title slide, which is fine. No, I don't want to replace that. I'll say number 2, reuse. Okay, and then I'm going to close it. So, in the past, if you're going to copy slides from one presentation into another, you probably went to the slide sorter view, you probably highlighted the slides that you wanted, and then you hit copy, and then you went to this presentation and you hit paste. Well, there's a feature in here. It's called reuse slides. It used to be called import slides from file. And now, let's say I want to bring in slides from that presentation into this one. So I'm going to go to New Slide. I'm going to go down here to Reuse Slides, and the Reuse Slide pane is going to appear. I'm going to hit the Browse File button because my presentation is on my desktop. I'm going to click on that one that I just downloaded for you, and I'm going to hit Open. What it's going to do is it's going to bring in those slides over here on the right. So if I click on one of the slides here, it's going to automatically import it into here. It's going to pick up the layout of the presentation layout design that I've chosen, and it blends right in. Now I'm going to hit Undo. If you want all the slides, you would right click and you could do Import All Slides. The other thing you could do too, now I just clicked on this, so it just imported it. So you can see it blends right in with the theme. It's got the logo, everything. It's perfect. Now, the other thing you could do is choose to keep the source formatting so that if you do copy this in, it keeps the original layout. Now, what that means is you're going to have 2 slide masters. So if I go to View, Slide Master, you're going to notice that not only do I have a slide master for this one, I now have a slide master for this layout. So I can mix multiple designs in a presentation, but I'm going to also have multiple masters. So I can go in here and I can edit this one. Again, click on the top one so that all of these layouts that I have in there will be formatted the same. Now, like I said, if I right click and I insert all the slides into this presentation, I'm going to go to Slide Sorter View so you can see how I have a mix of these slides and this slide. I'm going to click here, I'm going to hold my Shift key down and click on all of these here, and then I'm going to hit my Delete key to take those out. And I'm going to go back to normal, and so close my Reuse Slide button. So the Keep Source Formatting button here, if it's checked, it'll keep the original format. If not, it'll just blend right in to the slides that you're, the presentation that you're copying into. So I'm going to close that. And again, I went to New Slide, Reuse Slides. So that's something that you might want to use more often. All right, so I'm going to go down to the last slide. I'm going to insert a new one. Now I want to change the layout of this slide to a blank layout. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I can go up here to Layout on the home ribbon and choose blank. I can right click and go to Layout and then choose whatever layout I want. So even though you get a title and content layout, you can change it to a blank slide layout. I'm going to go to the Design ribbon, and here where it says Format Background, if you choose to take the background graphics out, when you click on this button and you get the Format Background pane, you can choose to hide the background graphics from the actual slide. So if you truly want a blank slide, that would give you a blank slide. You can also go in and add pictures or change the background. So if I go to pictures and I choose an online picture, so I'm going to say Christmas wreath scene because there's one that I like out there. This one. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to insert it. It's going to put it in my background. Again, I can go to the transparency if it's too dark and make it lighter if I want to see text that's in here. And notice that I only did it to this slide. I didn't do it to all of them. I could hit, if I wanted to apply this to all of them down below. And if I did that, it would put this background on every single slide. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to hit undo and just keep it on this one. So I can choose to format the background of a slide and create my own design templates if I wish. Now, the other thing is when you go to insert, you can insert pictures if you have them from your file. You could go to online pictures if you want, and you can get pictures from the clip art or online. So if I wanted to add a snowman, I could go ahead and do that. And let's say that I wanted this snowman here, and I hit insert, and then I could size it if I want, and so forth. The other thing is there's a lot of animated clip art out there. So again, when you go to insert online pictures, if you type animated clip art, you can click on the clip art and you kind of have to check it out. So I'm going to hit insert. It's going to insert this little star. And then if I do my Shift F5, Shift F5 runs it from the current presentation. You can see that my little slide is waving at you. Now, there's also sites out there that do clip art. One of them is called the Animation Factory. And as you can see, there's an animated clip art. Just type free animated clip art and you can go and you'll find all kinds of stuff out there. Microsoft Office has animated clip art too. So I'm going to go ahead and so now it brings up the clip art. They have the clip art in categories. So since it's the holidays, I'm going to go to the holidays. And basically, all right, so here's a little stocking. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on it. I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to go to my slide and I'm going to paste it. Now, again, if I do the Shift F5, you can see it move. So you can go out there and you can find all kinds of little clip arts that you can use that's out there on the internet. And the animated clip art is created specifically for PowerPoint. So I'm going to add another slide. So I'm going to do Control M again. Now Control M, because I had a blank layout, when I did Control M, the next slide that I got was a blank slide. And when I mean blank, it still has the design, it just doesn't have any placeholders on it. And another thing that you can bring up when working with graphics on a slide is if you go to the View ribbon, check the guide box. When you check the guide box, you get two guides. You get a horizontal and a vertical guide that you can click and move so that you can align objects in the same spot on every slide. You can also add more though. If you hold your control key down and point to one of the guides and then drag, you can create multiple guides. If you hold your control key here, you can also create multiple guides. So basically, and then if you want to get rid of them, you just drag them over. The only ones I would still keep the vertical and horizontal guides and then just uncheck this. At least keep one of each. But if you do add multiple, you can do that and then you can just get rid of them later. Now, if I want to bring in a picture again, so let's say I'll type a wreath. I'll click on it. I'll insert it. Okay. I don't like that. You know what? I'm going to do a smiley face. Keep it simple. All right. So let's say I'll bring in this purple smiley face. Sometimes an image will have a background, which you can choose to remove the background and keep part of it. You can also, when you're removing the background, you can move this to include more of the image if you want. You can change the, nope, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to undo. All right, so let's say, go back to the way I had it. You can also change the contrast of the image. You can change the color of the image if you want. You can go to artistic effects. It depends on the image. Sometimes it'll let you, it won't here. You can put a border around the image. So you can do whatever you want with the image, and you can enhance it any way that you want. Now, the other thing you can do is you can insert what are called screenshots. So I'm going to go to this website, and let's say that I want an image from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here first. I'm going to click on the site that I want to go to first. Then I'm going to go back to PowerPoint right away. And I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to go to Screenshot, Screen Clipping. So that website that was right there is going to come up. It's going to gray out. And then I can drag over the part that I want. And then as soon as I let go, it'll put it right in on my slide. And then there's a format ribbon where you can actually crop your images over here. You can hit crop, and you could choose to take something out and just click on crop again so that it turns it off. And so you can screen capture anything that you want. Now what I want to do is I wanted to capture on a Word document on the insert ribbon this. I want to capture that drop down for my mail merge slide. The problem is if I go back to PowerPoint and I go to insert screenshot screen clipping, I don't have the drop down, so I can't do that. But what I can do is once I do that, I'm going to hold my Windows key down and hit the letter S. When I do that, it's going to ask me to bring up, what I'm going to have to do is launch OneNote. OneNote, there's a window. This is part of the OneNote feature, and everybody gets OneNote. So it's not something that you have to worry about. So I'm just going to bring this over for you. So now that I've opened OneNote, once you've opened OneNote, the program, which is under your Microsoft Office program, then you can close it. You don't need it anymore. All right. So now I'm going to click here. I'm going to do that Windows S. It's not working today. Okay. So normally what would happen is it would bring up this little window here, and it would say, let me try it. Maybe it's coming up on the other screen. No. So basically, that's not going to work. So in this case, it's not working, but the Windows S, what it would do, it would bring up a little clipping, and then I could just go ahead and say Save to Clipboard. So in this case, it's not working, so I'm not gonna go there for that. I don't know why it's not working. It was working earlier. All right, so I could do the screenshots. Now the guides don't show up when you run the presentation, so you don't need to worry about it, but if you want to turn them off, go to View and check the guide box. There's always some surprise. Every session there's always something that never works the way it's supposed to. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this blank slide. I am going to go ahead and insert word art. So I go to the word art, click on the word art diagram. I'm going to go ahead and type 2018 and 15 in here. Now with the word art, when you're working with it, you can change the fill color of it if you want. You can change the border of it if you choose. You can change the border thickness. These are things that you have to really dig in for. You could go to text effects and transform, and you can choose to make it wavy. If you remember, you used to be able to do this in the past, you can still do this. If I have this selected, now I have this over here, the format shape. I'm going to go to text options. I'm going to go to this text box here. Now this one, text direction, I can make it stacked. So then I can turn it up and I can put it stacked like this on my slide. And that's because if you right click and you went to format shape, if this wasn't open, you'd be able to work with this pane on the right hand side. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert another slide. And this time I'm going to insert SmartArt. So I'm going to go to the Insert SmartArt. Now, if this was a title and content slide, there is the SmartArt diagram here. There's the chart here. There's a table. You can insert video and stuff. And that was all in the enhancing presentation one with the video and where we could trim video. But even though this is a blank layout, I can go to Insert and insert what's called SmartArt. Now, SmartArt are diagrams that you can use to enhance your presentations. So if I click on this diagram here, I'm going to hit OK. This particular one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type the following. So I'm going to type Word, hit Enter. Now, if I hit Tab, like I did, I will get secondary bullets. Like a little outline. I'll type Excel here and I'll say charts and pivot, and then I'll click here and I'll type PowerPoint. Now if I want to add another topic, I just hit enter and then I just type Outlook, and then I can say, you know, tips, managing emails. And I could keep going on this one. Sometimes the design layout that you pick may not allow you to add more, but this particular one, it does. In fact, I'm just going to take this out, and then I'm just hit my backspace key and end there. This is called the text pane. So the text pane comes up, I can hide it. You notice that I'm on the SmartArt design ribbon. I can bring up the text pane again. I can actually click on this little arrow to bring it up and hide it. And then if I want to size this, I can size my SmartArt. Then over here, if I click here, I can choose to move that up and down. So if you want to move that so it's like this, you can change the order of it. You can then choose to change the layout. So if for some reason you didn't like your choice and you want to pick something else, you can just hover over the different ones and you can see how it's changing it. So now what it's done is it's taken this and it's made these sub bullets like an extra arrow. So you can see how I've changed this SmartArt. I can change the colors. So the color choices that you get are based off your template. So those color choices that you're going to get in here are going to be based off the template that you choose. And then here, I can make it more like a 3D. If I want to kind of enhance this, you can see as I'm hovering over it, I have these different looks. And then whatever I pick, I can choose to just make it look, and then I can animate it, which we're going to talk about soon. I am also, what I can do is on a slide, I can actually make a placeholder and convert it to SmartArt. So I can click on the placeholder here, hit convert to SmartArt, pick whatever style I want. I can stretch it out if I want. I can go here to the design. I can pick a different design if I want, kind of make it look different and give it a different enhancement. I can do the same for the bullets. So I can click this whole placeholder, convert that to SmartArt, and then go in. Now, if you don't see a diagram here that you like, you can actually go to more SmartArt graphics and actually go to the different styles here and pick whatever you want from there. So if I decide I want this, hit OK. And then I can go here, it'll give me more choices. So I can do something like that. And I just turned those bullet points into a SmartArt diagram, which is really nice when you're going and enhancing your presentation and making it more interesting. Now I'm going to go to the chart one. I'm going to do insert and I'm going to do a chart. So I'm going to do a column chart, hit OK. And then here what it does is it brings up a little spreadsheet so I can kind of type my, my text in here if I want. Or you can copy it from Excel and paste it in here. So like if I want to put how many classes there were, I don't want this line, I can highlight it and I can delete it. I could type in how many classes there were for those months. And I could keep going. Now I'm not going to spend time doing that. So I'm going to close my little spreadsheet. I can size my little chart here if I want to size it and just move it over and then kind of stretch it out again to make it a little bit bigger. And then I can animate that. I can change the chart style. I can change the colors of the chart if I want. There's also a chart website out there, a webinar that we did on charting if you want to learn more about charts. All right. So now I have some things on my chart in my presentation, and I kind of want to run my slideshow from the beginning. So I'm going to hit my F5 key, and you can see there's my. Now to move to the next slide, I'm going to have to hit my mouse or my space bar. It's just moving from slide to slide, nothing real exciting, and there you go. So now I want to I noticed there was a blank one in there. I'm going to click on that and hit my delete key, get rid of that one. And I'm going to go back here and we're going to talk about transitions. So transitions is how it moves from slide to slide. So if I want you can see here you have all kinds of different transitions that you can choose from. You can, if it's too slow, you can change the speed of it if you want. You can then change the, depending on what you pick, you can choose, but you can see there's so many different ones. There's wind, and if you click here, there's all kinds of different transitions that you can use. It's probably recommended that you use the same transition for all slides and not different. You don't want your audience to see too much. Some of the transitions will have different things like from bottom, from left to right, from top, depending on what you want to do. So you can transition, and then when you hit apply to all, if I hit my F5 key, you're going to see that it's moving from slide to slide. It just makes it a little bit more dynamic instead of just a plain. And it's simple. It's not anything that's going to be too irritating to your audience. Now, if you want to completely run this on timings, you would uncheck on mouse click, check after, and then pick how long you want it, and then it would automatically run by itself. But in this case, I'm not going to do that. Now, animations. Animation is when you want to animate objects in your slide. So if I go to this slide here and I want to animate my titles, and I want them to, so right here, there's a drop down. And you have entrance animations, meaning they're going to come in. You have emphasis animation, like the wave. Exit means they're going to leave. And motion means they're going to follow a path. There's more exit, there's more emphasis types of animation to choose from. If you click on this, you'll get a little box that pops up. So it's like for this one, I'm going to choose the wave. You'll get a little demonstration. Now, there used to be something called animation schemes where you could apply the same scheme to all the slides. Or you could do this in the Slide Master too, but in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the title, and there's something called an animation painter. I'm going to double click on it so that I can apply this to multiple slides. So when I double click, you'll see a paintbrush attached to my arrow. I'm going to go here and then I'll click on this title so it animates. I'll click here and animate that title so it animates, and so forth. So wherever I want to animate using that, I can. Now to turn it off, I hit escape. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click on my bullets. I'm going to choose the zoom. Notice how they come in. You can choose to do them, if they're all coming in at once, then you might have to choose by paragraph so that it comes in. Now if I do Shift F5 so you can kind of see, you see the animation, the first set of bullets, the second set of bullets. And if I wanted to apply those to other bulleted text, I could double click on the animation painter and copy that animation to other placeholders or text. Now I'm going to go here where I have the SmartArt. So again, I'm going to just do like the bounce on this one, click here on this one, this whole one here. I'm going to go ahead and do the wheel. And if I want them to come in individually, I'm going to go to Effect Options, one by one. So now if I do the Shift F5, I have my first SmartArt, I have my first bullet, my sub-bullet, and as you can see, they're coming in separate. So the same thing with the chart. You want to animate the chart. If I want it to split, I don't know if that one worked very well. Sometimes you have to watch which ones you bring in because they don't. Okay, then I'm going to do by element in the series. So if you want each series to come in separately, if you want the whole category to come in one at a time, Shift F5, that group, and that group. All right. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of finishing up a little bit. I know we're towards the end. I have two more things to show you. One of them is the custom show feature. If you have a very large presentation and you want to create smaller presentations from it, then you want to use the custom slideshow feature. You go to slideshow ribbon, you click here and go to custom shows. You hit new. All the slides from that presentation are going to be here. So let's say I want to present this to HR. So for them, I want them to get this slide, this slide, this slide, and this slide. I check the slides that I want, I hit add, I hit OK. Now I do another one. I'm going to hit a new one. I'm going to call this one training, and they're going to get this slide. If I want all the slides, I can just, check them all. And then I'm going to go ahead and just do a few here, hit add, hit OK. Now I have these multiple shows. So if I just want to show this to the HR group, I can hit this, go to custom show, hit HR, and now it's only going to show for the HR group. So I don't have to hide slides. I don't have to create multiple presentations for the HR group and another presentation for the training group and another one for, multiple clients depending on what you have. You can create these custom shows. What's nice about that also is that if you update a slide, it updates it for all of the slides. So you don't have to worry about going into multiple presentations and updating it. And also, if you want to print, when you go to File Print, you can also choose to print, let's say you want to print an outline or a handout for, here they are, for the HR group. So you can choose, or training, okay? So you hit training, and then you can just print their slides for their presentation. And you can do the HR group, you can print their slides for their presentation. So basically, when you work with custom shows, you can also print handouts for that group too. So it's many presentations in one large presentation. And finally, this leads us to printing. So when you go to File and you go to Print, you can choose, I'm going to do print all slides. You can choose to print your slides. Now the notes pages would be for you, who's the presentation, so you can see your notes down below. So the presenter, this would be for them. And then you can do an outline if you just want the text portion of it. If you do the handouts, the 3 slides is going to be the one that gives you the lines to the right of the slide, so that you can print these and pass this out as a handout to your audience. And so you can choose to print that, and then it just allows you, or if you want to print maybe 2 slides per page, so for you, you can see it. It just depends on how you want to print it. But finally, that's just kind of an overview of some of the things that you can do in PowerPoint. I hope you learned some tips and things that you didn't know. And, you can always, like I said, there's other, we have a tips and tricks, and we have an enhancing presentation PowerPoint, and hopefully next year we'll have some more PowerPoint webinars for you. So have a very happy holidays, and hope to see you next year. Any questions you may have, you can feel free to type in the chat window. If not, the session is ended. Thank you.